Hey there! Today we'll be looking at an interesting pen, and that pen was sent to me by a viewer. Very nice. And this is a Hero 753A, which suggests that there is also a Hero 753B. And in fact, you can also find it on eBay as 812, so apparently it has a different model number thing going on there. Hero, made in China. It's also known as 8 horses or 8 running horses. That has something to do with the imprint, which I'll show you in a second. I'm going to cover the parts of the pen. I'll tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and I'll do a writing sample. First of all, thanks to the viewer who sent me this. I really do appreciate it. Okay, let's start with the finial, right on top of the cap of the pen. You know, here, this is just a white thing on top of a black cap, and this is where you see that, you know, in China, quality control in these pens is not always perfect. You see that finial sticks out a bit on one side, so yeah, that's not exactly perfect, and I can't really push it in either. It's not a big deal, but these things have to be expected when you buy these types of pens. Alright, then we have the cap. The cap is black with some gold highlights, as you can see, nice and shiny, simple gold center band. We have a clip. Clip is really nice and springy, and then we have this pattern with Chinese characters on there and your 8 running horses, and there it says 753A, so there you got it, and it's all a nice shiny black, and then it ends in a little end cap thingy which has nothing in the back. And it looks like there could be a white thing on there, but it's not. Okay, the cap just slides off. It posts very securely because it really slides on top of that back part. That makes for a pretty big pen. That is also slightly top heavy. I think it's all. It doesn't feel like plastic. I think it's metal, but a little hard to say. Okay, then you have the section. Section has, it's a simple tapered section, little gold thing at the end, and then you have this Hero two-tone nib, which has Hero on there, as well as their flower logo, and one of these very smooth feeds, which you've seen on other Chinese pens as well. As to filling, you just unscrew the barrel, and then you have one standard Chinese converter, which I've seen a lot. There is a bit of a step down from the barrel, as you can see, but it's relatively smooth, and to be honest, it doesn't really bother me. It is a little sharp when you run your finger over it, but when you hold it like this, I think there's enough space for your fingers. Section is plastic. I don't find it particularly slippery, but this is the type of plastic that if you do sweat a bit, it will become a bit slippery and will rotate. Okay, as to the nib, I've been using it. It's smooth. It's a nice nib. I don't really have any complaints. Interesting thing, just a nice little detail, is that there is no breather hole, as you can see, just the nib slit. But it works. I have to say, it gives a pretty consistent ink flow and kind of nice. So that's that. What do I like about it? What do I not like about it? Well, the looks are definitely different. With those running horses, I think it's a pretty fascinating design. Of course, I can't read the Chinese characters, but I'm sure it says something very interesting. It looks interesting. It looks nice. It may be a bit flashy, maybe a bit too flashy for some, but I kind of like the design. A decent clip. Is it just me, or does this remind me a lot of those TWSBI, the newer TWSBI clips? Just saying. Anyway, an interesting pen. I like the weight. It's not a light pen. That's, as I said, that's why I think they probably use brass or something on the barrel, which gives you a decent feel. I like it. What do I not like about it? Well, I mean, clearly these little sort of quality control things, they can be a bit annoying. In all, I guess the most important thing is the nib, and I don't have any complaints about the nib. I think it's a pretty well-made pen. So there you have it. Before we do the writing sample, let's take a few measurements. It's not a particularly small pen. Capped, it's 142 millimeters. Uncapped, it's 122. section diameter at the narrowest point where you can still hold it is about 8 millimeters, a little over that, and at the widest point it's about 10 millimeters. Now taking the weight, it chips in at 36 grams. So there you have it. Enough talk about the pen. I think we need to see it in action. That's what we're going to do next. I hope this was useful. Again, thanks for sending me this pen. I appreciate it. And we'll see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, so here we go with the Hero. .753A. The nib, well, it's one of those Chinese, neither fine nor medium, something in between, I guess. This is definitely more towards medium, I would say. And the ink, I have to say, I'll be buggered if I know. I forgot which I put in here. It's a nondescript blue. Okay. The paper is Clairefontaine. Let's do a bit of writing. You feel a touch of feedback when you write. It's not terrible, but it's definitely there. Bit of fast writing. The pen doesn't skip, doesn't skid, it has a nice decent ink flow which I enjoy a lot. Okay, what about wetness? As you can see, it dries very quickly. How about line variation? As you can see, you can squeeze out a little bit of line variation, but it's not extremely pronounced. Well, finally, let's do some reverse writing. As you can see, that's very possible. It's probably going to run dry a bit, but you know, for a few words it should be okay, and you get a very fine line. Okay, well, again, thanks to the viewer for sending me this. I appreciate it a lot. Pretty fascinating details here. Interesting pen to look at. Okay, guys, I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.